Hello, what's up? I'm Flames, and you're listening to the MUTFocus podcast, episode 4. Today is Tuesday, September 24th, 2019. If this is your first time listening, this is my weekly, sometimes bi-weekly, podcast going over Madden Ultimate Team. On here, I review any MUT content, sometimes Madden-related content like gameplay updates. I dive into players' ratings, tell you if they're good or not, whether you should pick them up or not. I give you different types of strategies like investments and how to build your lineup. I preview or speculate future content coming, and a lot more. So with all that said, let's dive into this episode. So last Tuesday, of course, was Team of the Week, Week 2. We got 4 gold player items. Javarius Ward, cornerback from the Kansas City Chiefs, 76 overall. 77 overall free safety, Monte Nicholson from the Redskins. 78 overall halfback, Raheem Mostert from the San Francisco 49ers. And 79 overall quarterback, Josh Allen from the Buffalo Bills. Some of the low elites we got: 80 overall defensive tackle from the Colts, Danico Autry; 81 overall left outside linebacker from the Buccaneers, Shaquille Barrett; 82 overall tight end from the Ravens, Mark Andrews; and 83 overall wide receiver from the Chiefs, Demarcus Robinson. So now let's look at some of the higher overall elites that we got from Team of the Week last week. Aaron Jones, halfback from the Packers, 84 overall. He is 5'9", 85 speed, 88 XL, 87 agility, 85 carry, 59 catching, 70 elusiveness, 79 truck, and 74 break tackle. For an 84 overall, their stats on this card do stand out. He has solid speed at 85 with 80 XL, which is nice, 87 agility, and a pretty solid truck for an 84 being 79. For an 84 overall card, this is a pretty good halfback, but of course he's only an 84, so he's not too great. But for an 84, yeah, he's pretty good. Next up, we got my man from the Penn State University, Chris Godwin, wide receiver, 85 overall, from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who I knew was going to be a stud the moment he was drafted. Taking a look at his card, he is 6'1", he has 86 speed, 82 jump, 85 catch, 80 catch in traffic, 81 spec, 79 short, 81 mid, and 79 deep. This is basically what you would expect from an 85 overall wide receiver. Nothing really stands out too much. It's not a bad card, but for an 85 overall, there's certainly nothing that really stands out. Next up, we got Whitney Merciless, left outside linebacker, 86 overall, from the Houston Texans. He's 6'4", 77 speed, 85 XL, 74 strength, 84 tackle, 83 play rec, 75 block shed, 82 power move, and 62 finesse. And one thing that isn't shown on the back of this card is his zone coverage, which is pretty important. I don't know why zone coverage isn't on the back of cards of right and left outside linebackers. It should be, but Merciless has a zone coverage rating of 63. So with all that being said, this card is pretty underwhelming. I know he's only an 86, but he's slow, he can't cover. He's mainly a pass rusher, but it's not even that good. He only has 62 finesse with the 82 power move. You would wish the finesse was a little higher to complement the power move. And his block shed is 75, which isn't the greatest. It's average. But for an 86 overall card, you would hope it's a little higher than that. I mean, this isn't the worst card I've ever seen, but it's not very good. Pretty underwhelming. I'm sure you could make him a little bit better on Texans theme teams. The last higher elite that we got is Stephon Tuitt, left end from the Pittsburgh Steelers. He is 6'6", he has 70 speed, 77 acceleration, 86 strength, 85 tackle, 90 play rec, 83 block shed, 80 power move, and 60 finesse move. Like the Merciless card, this is a pretty underwhelming card. Again, he's only an 86 overall. But there's just nothing that really stands out. We know Tuitt's slow, we expect that from Stephon Tuitt cards, but you'd think they make his power move, block shed, finesse move maybe a little higher. Well, he's not a finesse move, so that's expected to be low, but maybe just his power move and block shed. You gotta make it higher than 83 and 80. I mean, 86 strength will make those ratings play a little bit better, but overall, a really underwhelming card. He's probably worse than the Merciless card, to be honest. So now moving on to the Master cards, both 90 overall. The first one being Julio Jones, who torched my Eagles on Monday Night Football. Julio Jones is 6'3", he has 87 speed, 92 jump, 86 catch, 88 catch in traffic, 88 spec, 90 short route running, 89 mid, and 85 deep route running. I wish this card was a little faster, but everything else on this card is just great. Great catching, great jumping, really, really good route running. And Julio cards always play great. Trust me, I had a Julio for most of last year, and every single version of his card just played way better than what the stats showed. He would catch everything. And if it weren't for another receiver that we got last week, which I'll hit on in a bit, I would have picked this card up. Really, really solid looking card. Probably one of the top 5 receivers we have in this game right now. And the other Master card probably even tops the Julio Jones card. These two Masters were really good this week. And the second one is Darius Slay, cornerback from the Lions. He had a big interception against the Chargers in week 2. And he is 6 foot tall. He has 89 speed, 88 excel, 88 agility, 84 jump, 89 play rec, 85 man, 91 zone, and 85 press. I picked this card up myself, I'll tell you how in a bit, but this card just looks really, really good. He has solid height, really great speed. You'd wish the jumping's a little higher, but he has great agility, and the zone really stands out. He'll make a lot of plays for you, but you also wish that his man was a little higher, although 85 is not the worst. His speed will make that man coverage look a little better, but you mainly want to be using this slight in a zone coverage type of scheme, which is what I run. So again, both Masters that week were really, really good. Can't complain about either one at all. And lastly, the limited time fantasy performer was Jamie Collins, left outside linebacker, who was on the Patriots. Take a look at his stats. He is 6'3", 84 speed, 87 excel, 72 strength, 86 tackle, 92 play rec, 68 block shed, 69 power move, and 59 finesse move. And when they first showed this card, I think everyone could agree, it just really, really looked underwhelming. Until you look at the back of the card in his hidden stats, and you see he has 80 zone coverage, which makes up for the bad stats a little bit. You put that with 84 speed, along with 83 agility, and he's a solid coverage linebacker. He won't stop the run for you, he won't rush the passer, but he's a solid coverage linebacker. Still, overall, I think it's a pretty underwhelming card, but the zone coverage, agility, and speed make up a little bit for the bad rushing stats, defending the rushing stats, I mean. So if I had to grade this card, I would give it about a B minus maybe. So that was Team of the Week, Week 2, and the following day we got new heavyweights. The first card being D Ford, left end on the San Francisco 49ers. He is 6'2", he has 81 speed, 82 excel, 80 strength, 80 tackle, 84 play rec, 64 block shed, 82 power move, and 88 finesse move. Right away, you look at that 88 finesse, and that's really, really solid. It's not 90 to what you really want it to be, but it's really solid paired along with the 81 speed, 82 excel. He'll get to the quarterback pretty easily and pretty fast with that finesse move and speed. But that 64 block shed is pretty alarming, meaning he won't be good against the run, meaning he's not much of an all-around defensive end. So if you do pick this card up, don't expect him to do anything special against the run, but if you need a pass rush or for maybe situational plays like 3rd and 4th down, pick this card up. I think it'll be pretty solid for you. And the other card we got, 88 overall left guard from the Indianapolis Colts, Quentin Nelson. He is 6'2", he has 92 strength, 82 awareness, 82 pass block, and 84 run block. I saw a lot of mixed opinions about this card. A lot of people thought he was a really great card because of that 92 strength, but honestly, in my opinion, in my experience, pass block and run block matter more than strength. Yet run block matters, but pass block and run block come into effect more, where the strength just helps those ratings out. Obviously, you don't want super low strength, but when you have low ratings for the overall of your card, like 82 and 84, pass block and run block, the strength really doesn't help that much. And I could be totally wrong, but that's just my experience with offensive linemen. So yeah, overall, I think the card's pretty underwhelming just because the 82 pass block and 84 run block, but the strength is nice. I don't know, maybe he's solid, maybe some of you have tried him out and he secures that edge really well. But that's just my opinion based on looking at the card. So moving on to Thursday, we got 2 new Signature Series cards. The first one being the speaker of the greatest Super Bowl parade speech ever, my man Jason Kelce from the Philadelphia Eagles, who is a center if you did not know. He is 6'3", he has 81 strength, 94 awareness, 84 pass block, and 94 run block. This card is primarily a run blocker, but 84 pass block isn't the worst in the world. It is pretty low for him being a 91 overall. But again, he's primarily a run blocker. He has 94 run block, which would be really, really good in the run game. Really good for dives, inside zones. He'll really secure up the lanes. Me being an Eagles fan, I was a little disappointed to see him get the limited time card, being that he would be so expensive, and he is pretty expensive right now. As I'm recording this, the cheapest one is $624K, which is just way too much for a center. But I was happy that I was able to power him up to 89 overall because of him getting this new card. So on the defensive side, the other signature that we got, another really good card, they know both these signatures really well, and it's Telvin Smith, who real quick, I'm glad they gave him a card. He's sitting out from football this year, not any health reasons, I think just personal reasons. Maybe he just needed a break from football, I don't know the exact reasons. He did tweet out a full explanation, and I forget what all it said. So I'm glad they gave him a card, and I hope he keeps getting upgrades, because he's always a great card in MUT. But looking at this card, he is 6'3", he has 85 speed, 87 excel, 61 strength, 87 tackle, 88 play rec, 84 block shed, 44 power move, and 53 finesse move. Obviously his power move and finesse move are very, very low, but that's not what this type of card is going to do for you. mainly for 4-3 or in the 3-4 if he's your coverage linebacker, not your rushing linebacker. And two other ratings I want to point out, 80 zone and 86 agility make this card even better. He probably right now is the best 4-3 outside linebacker in the game. With the solid speed, agility, block shed, zone coverage, he'll make some nice plays for you as a 4-3 linebacker. So on Friday, real quick, I'll hit on the veterans. We got Buster Screen and Adrian Peterson, both 86 overalls. Neither one are very good at all. The screen card is terrible. One of the worst 86 overall cornerbacks I've ever seen. The AP is alright, but go look at the cards yourself if you really want to see them. But the much bigger card release we got on Friday was the MUT 10 card, and it's none other than Randy Moss, who many consider to be the best wide receiver in NFL history, if not then second behind Jerry Rice. But let's go and look at this beastly card. He is 6'4", 91 speed, 92 jump, 90 catching, 87 catching traffic, 91 spec, 85 short route running, 86 mid route running, and 92 deep route running. When I first looked at this card, I was a little disappointed because of the 91 speed. But then after thinking about it, if you compare him to the fastest receivers right now, Tyreek Hill, Torrey Holt, he's right along there. You know, I guess they didn't want to make him too fast and break the game too much. But also his route running seemed a little low. His deep route running is really high at 92, but his short and mid are a little lower. You would think it would be a little higher than that, but 85 and 86 still aren't that bad. Of course, he has 92 jump, which is really great. He's 6'4". You pair those two together, and he's just going to make some crazy catches for you, along with 91 spec and 87 catching traffic. Just makes him really, really lethal. As I'm recording this right now, he is not cheap at all. He is 1.89 mil, the cheapest up on the auction house. And as great as he is, that's just not worth it for a wide receiver at this point in the game, especially if he has the same speed as Torrey Holt. So a more affordable option you have is what I did, and that is get his power up and power him up to all the way to 90 overall. And real quick, I'll share those stats for you. 6'4", 90 speed, 91 jump, 87 catch, 83 catching traffic, 88 spec, 81 short routing, 83 deep, and 90 deep route running. It really surprised me that his speed is only one lower than his 92 overall. I thought it would be like 88 or 89 even. And his jumping is one lower too. But his catching is 3 lower, his catching traffic is 4 lower, his spectacular catch is 3 lower, his short route running is 4 lower, his medium route running is 3 lower, and his deep route running is 2 lower. I wanted his catching traffic to be a little higher. To be 4 lower when the overall is only -2, and he only has -1 speed off of him, you would think that his catching traffic could maybe be a little higher. But so far, playing with him, the low catching traffic hasn't been noticeable. He's catched a lot of balls from me, hasn't made many drops. I haven't thrown to him too much. I still mainly throw to Torrey Holt and OBJ. But based on the small sample size I have, he's been really solid. Before I dive into the big content that we got on Friday, which was Series 2, I did forget to go over Weekend League, which started on Thursday, obviously, as it does every week. And real quickly, I went 13-9. It really should have been 13-7. I was dashboarded in 2 games, and you just hate to see that. Real quick note on dashboarding. It's something that I really hope is fixed soon. It's been a thing all year, I think, but I think lately, these past 2 weeks, it's really been catching on with the community. People are figuring out how to do it, and it just is terrible for the game. Especially in Weekend League when you only have 25 games to play. If you yourself have been dashboarded in seasons, Weekend League, or anything, please take a video of it, send it to Kralo, because it gets those people banned. And I just don't understand if you're doing it yourself. Why would you risk your whole entire team that you've either spent countless time or tons of money on to get where you are? Why would you do something like that can get you banned and would lose you everything? It's just beyond me. I don't understand that at all. I just really hope the issue is resolved soon, before it gets even worse. But yeah, I went 13-9. I was 12-6, which looks really solid, but then I lost 3 straight. So to me, I played better than my record showed. I'm starting to figure out a defense a little bit more now. I'm starting to throw the ball a little bit more, thanks to labbing a bit. But it was an open Weekend League, so maybe that's the reason I was playing well at most times. So now let's move on to the big topic of this episode. I mentioned last episode that I will go over everything that came in Series 2, so here we are. We got a lot of stuff, but I think the most significant thing that we got is, of course, the new level cap, going from 50 to 60. And at each level, we would get a different reward, just like we've gotten from every past level. So let's go over those. At level 51, we got 2 store offer fantasy packs. The first one being for coins. You can pick from 84 overall Andrew Luck, Melvin Gordon, Devontae Adams, Andrew Whitworth, and David DeCastro. I think for this one I went with Andrew Whitworth just because he was the most expensive card at the time. This card, by the way, costed $14K. or I believe like 980 training. It is not worth it at all to go with the training option here. You definitely want to spend the coin on this one. Don't take an L and do the training option, please. The second pack is with points, 350 points, but it is definitely worth it in my opinion. All these are worth it. You get to pick between 86 overall Odell Beckham, Julio Jones, Ezekiel Elliott, Trent Williams, and an 85 overall Platinum Jason Kelce, who quick sells for 110k. And if you're buying this pack, you definitely want to take Jason Kelce. He quick sells for 110k. And even if you want any of these other players, you can quick sell the Kelce, buy one of those players, and still have coins left over. Again, don't take an L here. Just take the Platinum card, sell the card. If there's any of the guys you want, then buy the card. You'll still have profit left over. But 110k for $3 is really worth it. So moving on, at level 52, you get a gold premium pack. Me, myself, I didn't pull anything out of this, but maybe you'll fare with better luck. At level 53, you get new level challenges and a level upgrade master token for Torrey Holt, which gives him a few +1s, including +1 speed. At level 54, you get a 30k quick sell, which I thought would be a little bit more, but still 30k is free coins, so it's whatever. At level 55, you get another 87 to 80 overall power pass, like you got at level 50. And me, myself, I believe I used it on Lane Johnson. I sold the Lane Johnson heavyweight card, and instead replaced the card with the power pass. At level 56, you get 2 more store offer packs, fantasy packs. The first one, again, costing 14k. Again, spend coins here, do not spend training. In this pack, you can pick 84 overall Michael Pierce, Telvin Smith, who got the Signature Series card the day before. So if you plan on powering him up, might be a good idea to take that card. We also got Chris Harris, Eddie Jackson, and Jamal Adams. I think I went with Jamal Adams here because I think he was going for the most at the time. So like the last pack, if you don't need any of these cards, I would check all their prices and pick the one that goes for the most. The other pack, also costing 350 points, can give you an 86 overall Damon Harrison, Jadeveon Clowney, Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, or an 85 overall Platinum Calais Campbell. Again, you want the Platinum card, this case being Calais Campbell. And if you want any of the other cards listed, take the coins and then buy that card. You will still have coins left over. So moving on to level 57, you get a Gridiron pack. And for me, I got kind of lucky. I pulled an 89 overall Terrell Owens Legend card, who last I checked was going for around 150k. I'm still waiting to sell him, see if his price goes up a little more before I sell him. But that's not too important. At level 58, you got more level challenges and another level master upgrade token for Torrey Holt, which gets him to 92 overall, his maximum right now. And I can quickly go over those stats. He's of course 6'1", he has 91 speed, 87 jump, 90 catching, 82 catching traffic, 84 spec, 90 short route running, 90 mid route running, and 87 deep route running. This +2 overall upgrade makes a glitchy card even more glitchy. Torrey Holt, without a doubt, still the best receiver in the game, except for maybe the new Randy Moss. At level 59, you got another 30k coin quick sell. Again, I wish it was a little higher, even higher than the first 30k that you got. But it's free coins, so again, you just can't really complain. And finally, at level 60, you get an 89 to 90 overall power-up pass. And me, myself, I initially used it on Lawrence Taylor, but then the next day I realized that I completely forgot about the new Darius Slay that just came out, a card I really wanted. I think for some reason I thought he was a 91 overall at the time. I already had LT before I got the power pass, so I sold the LT I had, but then after I realized that I could use it on Darius Slay, I rebought LT, took the power pass off him, and used it on Darius Slay. I would have made a profit if I would have kept the pass on Lawrence Taylor, but Darius Slay is a more expensive card. I needed an upgrade at cornerback, so I'm happy with what I did. Also in Series 2, we of course, as anticipated, got a new Series Master. They teased a blurred image of the player a few hours before the special stream on Thursday, and you could tell he was wearing an all-white uniform, so at that point you could conclude that it was either going to be a Charger or a Colt. And knowing that it would be an offensive player, I came to the conclusion that it would likely be Melvin Gordon, and lo and behold, it would be Melvin Gordon. So let's take a look at the stats on this 93 overall halfback. He is 6'1", he has 89 speed, 87 acceleration, 89 agility, 92 carry, 66 catching, 88 elusiveness, 78 truck, and 90 break tackle. And I also want to point out that he does have 95 juke move, which is crazy. I'm getting this card today when Weekend League rewards come out. He's already powered up to 91 overall for me, so all I gotta do is add in this new card and he'll be 94 overall. And that juke move will be 96. And with his own run maxed out, he'll have 98 juke move for me, which is really crazy. I can't wait to see what that is like on the field, whether it's noticeable or not. I'll make sure to let you guys know in the next episode. For some reason, people are complaining about that Melvin Gordon card. I don't know why, but it's easy to say he's at least the second best running back in the game behind Bo Jackson. I think he's better than Bo Jackson just because elusive backs seem to be better in this game, at least in my experience. But if you're debating on which back to get, Melvin Gordon or Bo Jackson, if you could choose one or the other, it just depends on your style. They're both great backs. It just depends if you want an elusive back or a power back. If you're wondering how much does Melvin Gordon cost in trophies, he's the same price as Von Miller, 1,050 trophies for his Nat item and 2,000 trophies for his auctionable card. Speaking of using your trophies in the store, we got a brand new John Madden collectible. If you used all of yours up, you can now buy one more. And the only other thing in the store that did change is the 84 Plus pack was changed to 85 Plus. That costs 500 trophies, which if you ask me, that is still not worth it at all. If you're looking to get coins from these trophies, I would definitely buy the touchdown packs. They're definitely the best deal. But overall, in my opinion, if you're not looking to get any of the players that are out in the current series, I would just be going to get as many John Madden collectibles as you can, because Madden is definitely worth it. Something else we got is 3 new exchange sets. The first one being 3 87 to 88 overall players for an 89 to 90 overall. This set has really affected the market. A lot of people have been doing it. I've seen some really nice pulls. But I did the math, I checked prices on Muthead, and you're likely losing out on this pack. You're likely not to get a profit. But if you want to take a gamble, go ahead. Because as some people say, go big or go home. The second new set we got was a new Superstar pack, and this I think lowered the price of Superstar Golds. You can turn in 3 70 to 74 overall Golds to earn 170 to 78 overall Superstar player. And as far as the third new set we got, I forget what it was. I can't seem to find it. So apologies for that. Something else we anticipated is that all the limited times from Series 1 up until a certain point would be added into packs. But what we didn't expect is that these type of cards will be getting their own type of kind of program, being called Series Redux. They have their own little fancy border around them. And if we look at the pricing on some of these cards, I was wrong. A lot of them went down in price. I didn't think they would. But a lot of the signature players like Cameron Jordan, Devontae Adams, Phillip Rivers, Christian McCaffrey, they're all down to under 300k, which honestly surprised me. They were down to like 300 to 400k first, but as I'm recording this right now, they're all under 300k, with Jordan and Adams being right around 200k. So that gives me hope that eventually Jason Kelsey will be affordable when Series 3 comes out. But there are some still really expensive ones like Vic, Bo Jackson, Patrick Willis. They're still right around the price that they've been for as long as they've been out. Close to $2 million. So moving on to, I believe, the final thing we got with Series 2, and that is the first string of Gauntlet. I honestly thought we'd be getting a new journey. I think everyone thought that. But maybe we'll get the journey in Series 3. This Gauntlet is 30 challenges in 3 different strings, Rookie, Veteran, and Legend. Each giving out 5 stars, 5 potential stars that is, thus making the total stars being 150. Although you only have to get 100 to get the Gauntlet player, being 89 overalls. You get a choice, I believe, 4 or 5 of them. I'll go over them in a bit. But first, let's go over all the rewards you can get from these challenges. At 10 stars, you get a 71 plus overall gold player. At Tier 2, with 20 stars, you get another 71 plus player. At Tier 3, 30 stars, you get 10k coins. At 40 stars, you get a 76 overall player. At Tier 5, 50 stars, you get another 76 plus player. At 60 stars, you get 15k. At 75 stars, you get an 81 plus player. And at 100 stars, you get the Gauntlet 1 Fantasy Pack. Then at 125 stars, you get 25k. And then finally, at 150 full stars, you get another 81 plus player and the Gauntlet 1 Expert Token, which I assume will go into a Gauntlet Master set. As far as what players will be available from there, I'm not sure. I don't think anyone really knows. We can speculate, but there's no way to really know. So let's go over all 5 of these new Gauntlet cards. First, we got Leonard Fournette, who has 88 speed, 86 excel, 80 agility, 80 strength, 80 truck, 75 elusiveness, 82 ball carrier vision, 92 carry, and 83 break tackle. He also has 85 juke and 82 spin move, as well as 84 stiff arm. While this card is good, I would not use your pick on this card, because 89 Bo Jackson that you can power up his power up to is definitely a better option. Yeah, you're spending coins on the training, but I think there's better options than this Leonard Fournette, considering that you can get that Bo Jackson, who will be overall a better card for you. Next, we have Juju Smith-Schuster, 89 overall wide receiver from the Steelers. He is 6'1", he has 87 speed, 88 excel, 84 agility, 89 jumping, 89 catch, 89 catch in traffic, 89 spec, 80 short route running, 80 mid route running, and 80 deep route running. So 80s all across the board with route running. Overall, this is a pretty solid wide receiver card. The 87 speed is solid, the catching stats are solid, his route running is a little low, but overall, this is a pretty solid wide receiver card. He's not who I would take. I think I'll rank all 5 of these cards once I'm done going over all of them, but Juju would not be my top option. Next we have Ed Oliver, defensive tackle from the Buffalo Bills. He has 78 speed, 84 excel, 86 strength, 82 block shed, 88 pursuit, 87 tackle, 85 hit power, 81 power move, and 75 finesse move. This card is by far the worst of the 5. There's just nothing that stands out with this card at all. Strength is nice, his tackle and pursuit are pretty solid, his hit power is solid, but you want your defensive tackle to be able to shed blocks and get to the quarterback. At least that's what's most important. And with only 81 power move, 75 finesse move, and 82 block shed, for an 89 overall card, that's just really, really bad. Unless you're running a Bills theme team, you should not pick this card up. I don't know why you would want to. There's 86, 87 overall defensive tackles that are better than this one. Moving on to Devin White, 89 overall middle linebacker from the Buccaneers. He has 88 speed. He's 6 foot tall, by the way. He has 87 excel, 78 agility, 89 jump, 83 play rec, 81 block shed, 92 pursuit, 90 tackle, 89 hit power, and 71 zone coverage. The speed and hit power of this card really stand out at 88 and 89. As a user and run defender, this card is really, really good. He's almost a poor man's Patrick Willis. But like Patrick Willis, you really don't want to depend on this card in zone coverage. But to get a guy who's like Patrick Willis for free instead of over 1 million coins, this Devin White card is really, really good. And lastly, we have Derwin James, the do-it-all strong safety from the LA Chargers. He's 6'2", he has 87 speed, 89 excel, 86 agility, 90 jump, 87 play rec, 82 man, 81 zone, 76 tackle, and 89 hit power. This card is a phenomenal user for the safety position, being 6'2" and 87 speed, as well as 86 agility too. I wish his coverage was a little higher, 82 man and 81 zone. This should be way higher for an 89 overall card, but I guess they can't make him too OP. You can still leave him on his own and he'll be pretty solid in coverage, but you mainly want to use this card. That's how you can utilize him at his best strengths. He's tall, fast, and athletic. He'll get a lot of user picks for you, so definitely a really great card. So now if I had to rank all 5 of these cards, I would go number 5, definitely Ed Oliver Jr., the worst card of these 5 by far. At number 4, Leonard Fournette, who is a really good card, but like I said earlier, the Bo Jackson is a much better option, and you can get him with just training. Get him to an 89 overall, that is. Number 3, a really solid card also, Juju Smith-Schuster, really good catching stats, solid speed, just a little low on the route running, is why he is not higher on this list. At number 2, I have Derwin James. You'd wish his coverage was a little higher, but great speed, great height, great agility. He's a great all-around safety. He'll do a lot for you. But number 1 on this list, I'm going with Devin White. The one thing he can't do is cover, and while that is important, he's an amazing user, great against the run, great hit power, great block shed. On a previous episode, I gave hate to a similar card like this, like I mentioned earlier. He's a poor man's Patrick Willis, and I gave that Patrick Willis a bit of hate, but the reason is because of his pricing. That Patrick Willis is still over 1 million coins, and for a middle linebacker that can't cover is just not entirely worth it at all. The fact that this Devin White is free, and he's very similar to Patrick Willis, the fact that he's great against the run, he's a great user, makes him the best choice of these 5 cards. He's the card I'm going with when I do complete Gauntlet, and as far as the Gauntlet challenges go, I heard they are kind of hard. I haven't played them yet myself, I played a few, but they're nothing too crazy from what I've heard. I'm definitely not looking forward to playing all 150 stars, but I'll leave that for another day, another time. So I believe that's it for Series 2 and everything we got. I myself am level 60 right now. I actually got it on Saturday morning at around noon. It overall took me about 9 or 10 hours. It wasn't really that bad at all. It was just grinding the same solo over and over again. Again, like I mentioned in the last episode, that challenge is in the Assemble Your Team solos. It's in the Deep Threat string, and it is this or that, the challenge against the Jaguars, where you start from your 10-yard line. Like I said in the last episode, I just wanted to get it over with, get it done with, so I could focus on other things the following week. So moving on to the following day, we got Legends on Saturday. Both pretty solid cards. The first one's Shannon Sharpe, tight end who played for the Broncos. He is 6'2", he has 84 speed, 81 strength, 87 catch, 90 catch in traffic, 84 spec, 84 short route running, 85 mid, and 72 run block. And by the way, he is a 91 overall. I did not mention that. This card's solid. He's really good speed for a tight end right now. Pretty solid strength. He has great catching, solid route running, but my only complaint with this card is his run block. I used Captain Shannon Sharpe last year, all of MUT, and I don't know what his run block wasn't 91, but looking at his 91 overall legend card, it was a legend piece to his full legend card back in MUT 19, and that card had 80 run block. So same overall, different year, he has -8 run block. And I know his stats were toned down this year, cards were nerfed, but still, I'd wish that run block was a little higher, at the least maybe 75, 76. I mean, 72 is solid if you compare him to other tight ends, but me personally, I'm fine with George Kittle, who has 80 run block and pretty similar stats considering he's an 87 overall. Sharpe's 81 strength does make up for the low run block just a bit, but still, the low rating of 72 concerns me a little bit. I mean, again, it's solid, but for 91 overall and the fact that it is Shannon Sharpe, you would think that it'll be a little higher than 72. But that's my extended rant on Shannon Sharpe. Moving on. The next guy we got, Kevin Green, left outside linebacker, 91 overall, who played on the Steelers. He is 6'3", he has 83 speed, 85 excel, 87 strength, 86 tackle, 87 play rec, 80 block shed, 87 power move, and 91 finesse. I'm not going to look at his zone coverage. I know it's low. That's not the type of guy that Kevin Green was. He was a 3-4 guy, not a 4-3. He was a pass rusher. And looking at his pass rushing stats, they're really good. 87 power move, 91 finesse. That 91 finesse is where you want it to be over 90. He has solid speed with 83 speed with an 85 excel. And I saw a few people complaining about his 80 block shed. Yeah, you wish it was a little higher than 80, but 80 is pretty solid. It's not amazing, but it's good enough. And also 87 strength is pretty good. It's not the best, but still pretty good. So both these legends are pretty good. Can't really complain about either one. And now let's move on to the lone release we've gotten this week so far, and that being flashbacks. This week, flashbacks were raised to 89 overall, which is really cool. They're starting to become usable cards. I mean, some of the 87s and 88s are still kind of usable, but them being 89 overall now makes them even more usable. They're a little bit closer to legends now, which is really solid. I'm happy EA raised their overall to 89 overall. But with this overall raise, it also raised the training cost for the flashbacks pack to $2,400, $2,470. So the raised overall means a raised price. They probably won't raise the price when flashbacks go up to 90 and 91 if they do. But if they're still coming out at 92 overall, I think that's when we may see a raise in price, since it took 3 overall points for the flashback packs to go up the first time, from the first time to the price now. And I also believe, I haven't seen this confirmed anywhere, but since they raised the price of the flashback packs, that means I think that A6s were removed from the packs. I haven't seen that confirmed anywhere, but that'd be really cool if that's the case. And that is what I've heard, at least, is the case. So going over these cards now. First we got Eric Ebron, tight end, 89 overall, who is featured on this card on the Detroit Lions, currently plays for the Colts. He is 6'4", he has 83 speed, 6'9 strength, 87 catch, 87 catch in traffic, 89 spec catch, 80 short route run, 78 mid route run, and 62 run block. He's not a run blocker, he's not a great route runner, but his catching stats are really good. He has really good speed for a tight end, and his height at 6'4" is really good as well. This is overall a pretty solid card. If you're looking for a really good receiving tight end, and is okay with his route running being a little low, then go ahead, get this card, because he's pretty solid. The other card we got on defense, cornerback Marcus Peters, 89 overall, currently plays for the Rams, but on this card he is featured on the Chiefs, the team he started his career with. He is 6 foot tall, 87 speed, 87 excel, 88 agility, 86 jump, 88 play rec, 88 man, 78 zone, and 82 press. The stat that jumps out on this card is the 78 zone, very, very low, especially for an 89 overall card. But that's not what this card was designed to do. Of course, he has 88 man on the flip side with 87 speed. If you run mainly man coverage, this card would be pretty solid for you. You just don't want to play him if you're going to play zone coverage. Maybe there's a specific formation where you have a slot corner who's always playing man. This card would fit that spot really well. But again, I want to repeat myself, you do not want this card to play zone. He will not make many plays in zone coverage for you, although he is fast at 87 speed. This card doesn't fit my scheme, but overall it's a pretty solid card. A little one-sided on the coverage, but still, he's pretty good. Up next, I want to go over my lineup, because with Series 2 came a lot of coin making. through the platinum players, through the 60K in quick sells, through the power passes, making profit from that, and knowing that double rewards were coming up from weekend league and solo battle rewards, I decided to make a number of upgrades to my team, getting it up to an 89 overall, still sitting with 1.2 mil, which I expect to become 1.8 or 1.9 mil after I sell a bunch of cards and get double weekend league rewards later on Tuesday. So let's go over the team. I still have that quarterback, 91 overall, Patrick Mahomes. Still not too many complaints about the card. I mean, he misses throws, but it's not to the point where it's super annoying. I see that he misses throws mainly to the left sideline, so I try to avoid throwing to the left sideline, mainly to the right sideline. But maybe that's a thing with all right-handed quarterbacks, or maybe it's just a thing with Mahomes, I don't know. At halfback, I have 91 overall, Melvin Gordon. When I get the trophies, which will be after weekend league rewards, I will have enough, and I will get Melvin Gordon up to 94 overall. So far, using his 91, he's been pretty solid. He feels a tad slower than what Clinton Portis was, but he'll be faster with that 90 speed once he gets up to 94 overall. Fullback is 81 overall, Anthony Sherman. Wide receivers are 90 overall, Randy Moss, 89 overall, OBJ, and 92 overall, Torrey Holt. I throw most of Torrey Holt. He's been great. He's been great all year, especially with the slot apprentice ability. I put him on a post route a lot. I put him on a crossing route sometimes. He's definitely the featured receiver in my scheme, coming out of the slot. I throw to OBJ a good bit, and he's still pretty good. 87 speed is still solid. He has good route running, he catches most balls, and he's good after the catch too with that juke move. He's still probably top 10 receiver in the game. And he's Nat, so I'm pretty much stuck with him for a while. And right now I don't really see a reason to upgrade him. And at wide receiver 1, the receiver I probably throw to the least. And that again being Randy Moss. I have mentioned that I have a small sample size of him playing so far, but so far he's been solid, catches most balls. He's only dropped a few for me. He's made a few nice catches in the air, aggressive catches. That being the 90 overall Randy Moss, power up. He's been solid. At tight end, I have 87 overall George Kittle, who I still don't throw to very often. It's just how my scheme is. I mainly throw to my receivers, and tight ends are usually there just to block. But in the times I do throw to him, he's solid. He doesn't drop many passes. He has pretty good speed for a tight end after the catch. And he's great blocking, of course. The only addition I made to my O-line was Marshall Yanda, 88 overall heavyweight. Good balance of pass and run blocking. Other than that, at left tackle, I still have Joe Staley, 88 overall. 88 overall Power Bruce Matthews, 89 overall Jason Kelsey, and 88 overall Lane Johnson. Moving on to defense, starting on the defensive line, Aaron Donald at right end, who really plays a defensive tackle. He still does nothing for me. My defensive tackles don't see the field. Fletcher Cox, 88 overall, and Kawan Short, 87 overall. At left end, 91 overall Reggie White. I played him at defensive end for a bit, and he played great, but he's back to where he originally was at defensive tackle. And he's a little bit more noticeable than Aaron Donald, especially in the run game, but he still doesn't do too much, especially when it comes to sacks. At backup left end, who actually plays left end for me, is 89 overall DeMarcus Lawrence. He still plays great because of his abilities. He'll usually get at least a sack a game, but other games he'll get 2, 3, 4 sacks. Moving on to the linebackers, he's a right outside linebacker, but he's positioned at left outside linebacker on my lineup, and that is Lawrence Taylor, who actually plays right end for me. And like DeMarcus Lawrence, he is great. He's actually probably better because of his speed and better power move. Well, actually, it may be the same. But again, him and Lawrence are great. Sometimes they'll take turns. Lawrence will get the sacks. Other games, LT will get sacks. And some games, they'll both just wreak havoc on the quarterback. But they both play great because of their abilities. And LT because of his speed. At middle linebacker, 91 overall, captain Ryan Shazier. He still plays great all around, great against the run, great against the pass. He makes a lot of plays for me. One of my best cards on defense. At backup middle linebacker, it will soon be Devin White. But that is after I complete Gauntlet. And at middle linebacker 3, he's a 2 right now, but he will be at 3 once I get Devin White, is Deion Jones, who sometimes plays for me and doesn't really do too much. But again, he really doesn't play that much, so it's hard to really judge on how he plays, just based on how often he plays for me. And at right outside linebacker, I upgraded Derek Brooks to his full legend power-up, jammed up to a 92 overall, and actually made this upgrade after I completed my full weekend league. So I still have yet to see how he plays at his full legend power-up version, but his 88 overall played solid for me in the limited amount of plays that he played in. Now looking at my safeties, 90 overall Brian Dawkins. He's 89 overall, but cammed up to 90. He doesn't have 90 zone, but he plays like he does. He makes a lot of jump ball picks in the middle of the field, in the deep middle. He's noticeable in the run game. I don't think he's forced any fumbles for me yet, which is a little disappointing, but he is overall really, really solid. His full legend card right now is going for about 550k last I checked, so he's getting there. I don't want to get him just yet, still a little bit too expensive, just based on how many coins I spent lately. But maybe next weekend he goes down a little bit more and then I pick him up. But I also want to save my coins for MUT Heroes when it does drop, or if it doesn't drop before Most Feared, then Most Feared will be when I spend a lot of my coins. So we'll see when I fully upgrade Brian Dawkins to his full legend. At backup free safety, I have Earl Thomas, 90 overall. He only sees the field in one formation for me, but he was pretty solid before I got Brian Dawkins. Starting at strong safety is Adrian Amos, 88 overall power up. And he is probably the most up and down player on my team. There'll be one weekend where he'll have like 3-4 picks. Another weekend he will do absolutely nothing. I mean, he's been solid, but he's at his up and down moments. At backup strong safety is 91 overall Ken Houston. He plays linebacker in all my nickel formations. I usually user him, and this card as full legend plays great, whether I'm using him or let him on his own. He gets picks either way. I love this card. So now going over my corners, at CB1, I still have Charles Tillman, 91 overall. Like Amos, he's kind of up and down. He'll make plays some games, other games he won't do anything. But he doesn't really give up plays either, so I can't complain too much. At cornerback 2, I mentioned earlier, I upgraded my Darius Slay to his Team of the Week version. He's 92 overall. And I believe I played 5 games with him, and in 2 or 3 of them, he played amazing. Like, he won me 2 games. The other 3 games, he didn't do as much, but the fact that he showed up in those 2 games so much, I love this card so far. I hope he keeps playing well. So far, he is worth the price. Even though I used the power pass on him. So I guess he's worth the power pass. And lastly, at slot corner, 90 overall Richard Sherman. He's made a few nice plays for me, but like Tillman, hasn't done too much. So that's my lineup. And like I mentioned in episode 1, the last time I went over my full lineup, I'm doing this just to give general ideas of cards you may want to pick up for yourself, and give it a try to see if they're good for you. So lastly, let's talk about what's still to come in MUT this week, and further beyond. Team of the Week has probably already been revealed by the time this episode is out, but my predictions for the highest cards: offensive hero Keenan Allen, defensive hero Jamal Adams, and the limited time being Alvin Kamara. Those are just my guesses. We also should be getting house rules on Tuesday. It hasn't been confirmed, but it also hasn't been confirmed that it's not coming. Real quick, I did forget to mention house rules from last week. It wasn't anything special. I skipped it. The rewards were terrible. The game idea itself was pretty cool, it being Tug of War, which is a template version of something you play on Superstar KO. The pass rush felt super OP in the few games I played, and that's the thing because every single round, every single player was put back to 100% stamina, and that would then result in the pass rusher just winning the battle in those situations. And like I said, the rewards were terrible, and it seemed like everyone agreed with it. These games could take anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, and you had to win 50 games just to get 20 of the Ultimate Kickoff collectibles, which did not seem worth it at all. We're hoping for more collectibles. A lot of people were hoping for a 91 overall Master, but that's just unrealistic this early. But I was hoping for at least maybe a seasonal performer, one of the 83 overalls, as well as more collectibles. So hopefully House Rules, if we do get it tomorrow, which it seems likely, does give better rewards. Hopefully EA learned this time to give us better rewards. And other than that, other than the usual schedule stuff like flashbacks, heavyweights, and all that, I don't think we'll be getting anything this Friday, although I would not be surprised if they just dropped MUT Heroes out of nowhere, although it kind of would be a little bit surprising, but who knows. I think MUT Heroes is more likely to come out next week, and if you want to know more about MUT Heroes and what we can expect, check out episode 2. And then once MUT Heroes drops, we know Most Feared is just around the corner, so there's good content ahead in MUT, it's just a matter of when it comes out. So that's all I have for you in this episode of MUTFocus. Again, like always, leave me feedback in the comments or on Twitter @FlamesMUT. And with all that being said, I'm Flames, and thank you for listening to the MUTFocus podcast.